What's up, guys? Welcome to Veracruz. Hola, amigos. I am in Papantla on the bus that I just boarded going to Veracruz. It's about a 4-hour bus ride. The bus arrived here about an hour late, so kind of put a little dent in some of my plans, but all is good. Let's go. Officially known as Heroica Veracruz, or simply El Puerto, Veracruz is a vibrant port city on the Gulf of Mexico, known for its rich history, lively culture, and Afro-Caribbean influence. It's Mexico's oldest European-founded city and first major port, serving as the gateway for Spanish colonization, as well as trade between Europe and the Americas, and remains one of the country's most important maritime hubs. Famous for its delicious seafood, bustling Malecón, and traditional Danzón music and dance, the city's warm hospitality and festive atmosphere make it a must-visit destination. Okay, I have made it to my hotel in Veracruz. It is an old 19th century building. She told me that it was built around the 1890s. So let's check it out. This is my room. And look how high the ceilings are with those cool round windows. I have a balcony here. There we go. Overlooking the streets here. And there's my little sink and the bathroom. Nothing fancy as usual for me, but it will certainly do. And of course, the most important thing, ta-da! I'm gonna unpack all my stuff and get myself settled, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, it's a little later in the day than I was expecting, but I am walking up to the Malecón, where there is the port. Now, let me just be a total nerd here because I'm going to talk about this for probably this whole video. Veracruz, this is where Hernán Cortés, the Spanish conquistador who conquered the Aztecs and got this land for Spain and eventually turned into Mexico, this is where he first landed. Well, not where he first landed. He first landed in the Yucatan and talked to some natives there and yada yada, and then came over here. But this is where he first set up camp and had his ships and everything. And he basically founded the first Veracruz somewhere else and then moved it to another place. And this is the third place that I think it was after he died that they eventually moved it here. But anyway, the point is, this is where he first stopped and encountered the Totonac indigenous people and made an alliance with them to go after the Aztecs, which the indigenous here, hated the Aztecs because they were under their control and had to pay tribute to them and also give them people to sacrifice. So let's check it out. There is the fort that the Spanish built way after Hernán Cortés died. So I will be visiting that fort probably tomorrow, but what's interesting is that where that fort is built used to be an island, and now it's like, you know, been connected to the mainland. And that is where Hernán Cortés set up camp first. And there he met for the first time with representatives of Moctezuma. Moctezuma had heard of his arrival and sent people down to speak to him. Later, he then moved, he crossed over and came onto the mainland, and here, right here on this Malecón, well, it wasn't a Malecón then, it was all just sand dunes and full of mosquitoes, he set up his first camp. And on this site is where he met the Totonac natives and started a relationship with them and planned on going after Moctezuma and conquering the Aztecs. So I am standing in one of the most historic places in the American continents. This is the deepest water port of Mexico. Okay, so far I've only been here, I've only walked around for 10 minutes, but it's a little bit run down and very gritty. It kind of feels like maybe what Cuba would feel like, although I've never been to Cuba, but from what I've seen, I feel like, there's definitely a Caribbean feel here. Lots of statues of different important people around here, but you won't see one of Hernán Cortés. Most people view him as not the nicest guy. That prostitute behind me just offered me sex for 100 pesos, which is only $5. Sad. The Zócalo, or Plaza de Armas, is the vibrant heart of the city. Surrounded by historic buildings like the Municipal Palace, outdoor cafes, restaurants, and bars, this lively square is a popular gathering spot for locals and visitors alike, while the glow of the tower of the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Assumption provides a beautiful backdrop. The Zócalo is absolutely beautiful at this time of night. Not that I know what it looks like during the day, but the light here is really, really pretty. It's getting dark now, or it is dark, I should say, but I am still sweating like a pig because the humidity is off the charts. I'm gonna pick one of these little restaurants here on the side of the Zócalo and get some dinner. Well, I think I ordered too much, but looks delicious. Got a Caesar salad with shrimp and loma de pescado veracruzana, which is fish fillet a la veracruzana, which is a typical style of sauce, I guess you would say, or preparation. That is peppers and tomatoes and capers and olives. Try this fish first. Looks good. Almost reminds me of a cacciatore or a putanesca. Of course, being in Veracruz, you're going to be seeing me eat mostly seafood all the time, and I'm not complaining about that. Okay, back in my room. There's not really much I can do anymore because it is nighttime, so I will see you guys mañana for day 2 in Veracruz. Okay, buenos dias, day 2, Veracruz. I am headed to the most famous restaurant, cafe in Veracruz called Gran Café de la Parroquia, and I am starved, so let's go. It's been 5 minutes and I'm sweating. I just walked about 5 blocks totally out of my way, which normally would not be a big deal, but since it's 452 degrees out here, it's really upsetting. You think I'm sitting outside? You're wrong. Established in 1808, the Gran Parroquia is a historic cafe and beloved local institution, renowned for its famous lechero, a classic Veracruz coffee. First, you're given a glass of hot, steamy milk, and then you simply ding your glass and a waiter comes and pours in the coffee, often with a dramatic flourish. Sí. Gracias. Nothing like some scalding hot milk and coffee when it's a sauna in here. Started off with a buttered concha, a typical Mexican pastry that resembles a seashell. That is good. I ordered scrambled eggs with the bacon, but it looks like when you ask for bacon, it comes like this. And this brown thing I thought was a piece of bread, but it's refried beans. Good refried beans, I may add. I'm dying of heat. Okay, let's see if I can find a taxi because I want to head to the beach. Buenas tardes. ¿Cuánto me cobra para ir al acuario?
60 pesos.
Ok, vale.
Tiendas Flores, variándole el ahorro, te da la hora. Son las 12:09.
This is the aquarium that Veracruz is famous for, but we will not be going there because I couldn't care less. Here's a picture from the internet. Now I'm gonna take a tour to Isla de Sacrificios, the island of sacrifice, and Cancuncito, which means little Cancun, which I'm sure Cancun it is not. Let's go.
¿De dónde nos visita?
De Estados Unidos, New Jersey.
Ok. Está bueno el calor.
Mucho calor para mí. No estoy acostumbrado a ese calor. No puedo imaginar el calor del verano.
Abril,
Si hace
mayo.
Ay, ay, ay.
47, 48 grados.
Ay, ay, ay.
Por este lado.
Ah. Okay, so we're waiting for more people for the tour. I already know, though, from the reading I've done, that the island of sacrifice is where Juan Grijalva, which was another Spaniard, landed here in this area on that island. And he witnessed there human sacrifices happening on the island, and that's why it's called the Island of Sacrifice.
Esta isla tiene más de 35 años cerrada al público, ya que en ella se encontraban restaurantes, puestos de artesanía. La misma gente que uno traía generaba demasiada basura. Se le hizo un reencuentro a la isla y se le sacaron más de 30 toneladas de basura. Ese fue el primer problema para que esta isla fuera cerrada.
In his famous book, The True Story of the Conquest of New Spain, Bernal Diaz recounts, "We found 2 stone buildings of good workmanship, each with a flight of steps leading up to a kind of altar, and on those altars were evil-looking idols, which were their gods. Here we found 5 Indians who had been sacrificed to them on that very night. Their chests had been struck open and their arms and thighs cut off, and the walls of these buildings were covered in blood."
Ahorita van a ver los pececitos de colores, amigos, se asoman al fondo, van a poder ver los corales. Como usted puede observar.
Okay, so we stopped here. It's so shallow, and we're gonna go in the water here off the boat. I can already see fish, and the water is so clear.
Podemos nadar, snorkelear alrededor de la isla, pero no podemos descender Si lo hiciéramos, estamos cometiendo un delito federal, ya que es un santuario para tortugas.
So, Isla Verde.
Isla Verde.
Y Cancuncito me dijo que es una islote.
Este es un pedazo de islote. Todo lo demás de allá es arrecife.
Okay.
¿Sí?
So Cancuncito is not an island. It is an islote, which I don't know what that means in English, but I'm sure I'll look it up when I edit this video and put it here. This is Cancuncito. It's just this super, super shallow water. It comes up a tiny bit above my knees. I did not know this. I thought it was an actual island. But anyway, it's shocking how clear this water is, being so close to the city. This is pretty insane. Cerebro de mar.
Es una piedra de coral.
Ah.
Está pesado, está pesado.
Mira. Wow. ¿Y no se hace daño tocarla?
No, tocarlo no, pero sacarlo sí.
Ah.
Nomás, amigo, mójalo.
Wow, that's amazing.
Por eso, si...
It feels so surreal to be like this far from the shore and standing and the water only coming up to my knees. It's just like a strange feeling. I just realized I have zero sunscreen on. I'm sure I'm going to hear from my mother when she watches this video. Hi, Ma. Here, Ma, look. I'm going to protect my head. ¿Qué? ¿Erizo? Oh, it's a... How do you say that in English? En Italia se come, pero ¿se puede comerlos aquí?
Es otro.
Oh, es otro. Okay. ¿Existen aquí? Sí? So those, I've eaten, not this kind he said, but in Sicily, the other kind, you eat them inside. You can fish them, cut them right off of a rock under the water and crack it open and eat the inside raw. I want to swim, but it's too shallow. Let's try. Tiny bit deeper here, but there's little rocks or coral everywhere. Let's try. Swim here. Probably hit my head and die. Bye. What a swing. See better here than I did snorkeling in Puerto Vallarta, in Huatulco. It's crazy. Oh no, Veracruz. Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Okay, walking now down wherever I am. I'm gonna check out one of the city beaches here, which, you know, I've read they're not the nicest beaches in the world, but they're beaches. And I would like to lay on a lounger and have a pina colada. I changed my mind. All these beaches, I don't see any loungers, just tables. I'm gonna attempt to go down to Mandinga, which there is a lagoon there that I understand you can get a lancha, a little boat into the lagoon and get lunch there. Hopefully I can hail a taxi here. Sí, Mandinga. Hay muchos afro-mexicanos aquí, ¿sí? Por eso tiene la música, esta cultura, la comida.
El color, todo.
Sí.
El baile. Por eso aquí se baila mucho la salsa.
Ajá.
¿Usted sabe bailar salsa?
No, tengo dos pies izquierdos. Topes.
Sí, tope. Tope. Como dicen ustedes, motherfucker.
Motherfuckers.
Fuck. Son of a bitch.
Okay, once again, I probably ordered too much. And I ordered arroz a la tumbada, which is a typical dish from Veracruz, which is rice with seafood, almost like a paella, with all different types of seafood, shrimp, octopus. Ooh, it's spicy. This is good. A little spicy, but good. Okay, this is called guachinango, which is red snapper, which is very common here in Veracruz. Common dish. You can get this fish all different styles. I chose the zarandeado style. Fuck if I know what that means. She explained it to me. All I know is it's cooked in some kind of red sauce. I've never had red snapper. It's interesting. No, it's good. Some parts of it is kind of like crusty and almost burnt, but good. Yeah, I dig it. Just want to make sure. Have I mentioned how hot it is? Okay, I did eat most of the fish, and now I am going on one of these little boats to take a little tour of the lagoon here. And it's going to be dark soon. Okay. Look at this. This is cool. Oh my God. This is pretty cool.
También entra mucha agua dulce del río Jamapa. Si mezcla agua dulce y agua salada, entra lo que es la laguna de Mandinga. Miren, allá a su derecha tenemos lo que es la grulla, miren. Parecida a lo que es a la garza blanca.
La garza blanca.
Ajá.
La garza blanca. I definitely lucked out with the time of day because as it's approaching dusk, it is beautiful.
Nada más el camarón lo pescamos de noche, ya en el día lo puedes pescar con lo que es la red, con lo que es la atarraya. Ya viendo buena pesca, te agarras hasta 30, 40, 50 kilos de camarón. Camarón cristal. Aquí el camarón es mediano, no es muy grande. Camarón
¿Es los camarones que acabo de comer?
ándale, camarón cristal aquí.
Sí. I had no idea shrimp lived in this kind of water. This is beautiful.
Esa concha de almeja, concha de ostión.
Oh, wow. ¿Para qué están en las
Esas
bolsas?
pusieron aquí como para protección a la isla.
Ah,
Para
ok,
cuando
ok,
la
ok,
corriente,
entiendo.
oleaje o norte,
Sí,
no estés lavando lo que es la isla.
ok.
Es una protección.
They're like sandbars. They put the shells in the bags
es.
like this to protect against the erosion of the island. That's pretty cool. This island is a pilgrimage spot for Catholics who come to ask La Virgen Desatora de Nudos, or the Virgin of Untying Knots, for blessings by writing their wishes on white ribbons and tying them here. Once the blessing has been completed, the ribbons are exchanged for colored ones and placed here.
Nada.
Nada?
Kilo.
Que yo no le creo, por eso no contesto. Si dejo que le doy.
Okay, hopefully I can get a taxi here.
Tente con celos con juegos que yo no le creo.
Okay, I was told to walk down this road and I would find taxis. So here I am walking through this village as night falls, like a big American tourist. Okay, I found a taxi, but he was not available. And he told me to just wait here. Hola, buenas noches. ¿Está disponible?
¿Dónde va?
Al centro de Veracruz.
No, yo pedí no voy.
Oh, ok, gracias. Okay, story time. I'm standing there and every taxi driver that come by was like, no, I'm not going there, I'm not going there. So now I'm starting to panic a little bit. Finally, another taxi driver stopped and I said the same thing, can you take me to the center of Cancuncito? No, there's too much. He's like, if I take you, I'm gonna charge you 380 pesos, which is totally too much. But I was like, all right, what am I gonna do? Fine, but I didn't have enough cash. So I told the guy, I said, okay, I'll pay you, but I only have 250 pesos on me, but when we get to the hotel, I'll run upstairs and I'll give you the rest. No, this has happened to me before. Twice people have said that and they disappeared. And I said, I will leave all my stuff in the taxi while I go up. My bag, my camera, I will leave it. He goes, okay, then I'll take you. So he takes me. There's tons and tons of traffic and I could understand why nobody wanted to bring me back. As I said to him, there's no bus or colectivo that I could have taken near here to get me back to the center. He goes, yeah, if you would have gone to where the entrance to Mandinga is, there are tons of buses passing there. I said, oh, if I had known that, I would have walked over there. He goes, no, but it's dangerous. I said, oh, okay, why? Would I get robbed or something? He goes, oh, no, because there's rattlesnakes. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. He's like, I got bit by one, and he showed me his arm. His entire arm was totally deformed, and he said, it bit me right here on my finger. So his finger and his arm was all destroyed, and he showed me all these pictures of this operation. I'm like, all right, well, thank God I didn't do that. And I said, so what happened? You were walking there and you got bit by a rattlesnake? He goes, no, in the taxi. And then, of course, I freak out. I'm like, what do you mean in the taxi? There can be rattlesnakes in the taxi? He goes, no, I saw it cross the street and I stopped and I went out to grab it. And I was like, why? He goes, to sell it because their venom is valuable because they make medicine out of it. And I'm like, oh, okay. As we're driving here and I'm thinking to myself, because this guy's telling me this story and I'm like, this guy's nuts. And I'm like, should I leave my stuff in the taxi or should I just, when we get here, say, listen, I lied, I'm not doing that, but I will come down and bring you the money. Then I'm like, you know what, Alfie, it's not worth it because if he has a gun or something, like, it's just not worth it. Just do it. So we get to the hotel. I run in, I leave my stuff. Oh, I said to him first, I said, listen, please do not run off with my stuff. I'm gonna come back down with the money, but please, you know, I'm trusting you. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. I come into the hotel and I see the receptionist and she could see the panic on my face. I'm like running upstairs. She's like, what's wrong? And as I'm going up the steps, I'm telling her, keep an eye on that taxi, keep an eye on that taxi. And I'm like telling her the story as I go up. Anyway, I get the money, I come down, he's still there. I give him the money. I gave him more than he asked. I gave him 500 pesos, said thank you for picking me up and taking me and for not taking my stuff. God bless you. Have a good night. Adventure. That's what it's all about, right? Anyway, I'm gonna take a shower and I will see you guys tomorrow from Güero, Veracruz. Buenas noches. Buenos dias, amigos. Day 3 and my last day exploring Veracruz City. I'm heading to breakfast right now, which I won't take you to because I already did yesterday and I'm going back to that same place. But after that, I'm gonna check out San Juan Ulúa, which is the big fortress there on the island that I talked about where Hernán Cortés met with Montezuma's representatives, and check out a museum, maybe the church, and see whatever else I can get into. Let's go. Okay, I jumped on this tour bus thing here that is going to the fort for a cost of 80 pesos. They take you to the fort, drop you off, and in an hour and a half, they pick you back up. We were told probably a million times about the sun. The sun is so strong. They're selling umbrellas and big hats and whatever. And I'm like, I'll be okay. Well, guess what? Woo, Lord have mercy. So as I mentioned before, where this fort was an island a little bit off of the mainland. Hernán Cortés landed here on this island and Montezuma sent representatives because he had been receiving news that these people, these white people had come in ships and were on their way and yada, yada, yada. So he sent representatives with gifts and this and that to meet with Cortés and the Spanish to be like, you know, what's up? What's the deal here, you know? Then Cortés, after a little while, came on to the mainland, which is today the city of Veracruz, and started to settle. And eventually Montezuma and the Aztecs were basically sending people saying, don't come to Tenochtitlan. We can't receive you and yada, yada, yada. Like, nice to meet you, welcome, but bye, get out of here. Before Cortés, there was another Spaniard who came here first. And I mentioned him also before. That was Juan Grijalva. He's the one who named it San Juan Ulúa because when he arrived, it was the feast day of San Juan. And then he added the Ulúa, which he thought was the indigenous name of the place, which I think he was mistaken. It became a fort, or it started to become a fort later in the 16th century after Cortés obviously had conquered the Aztecs by then and took over Tenochtitlan and started destroying it and building what is today Mexico City. So this is where it all began here. This was the main fort of New Spain. And this is where all goods and stuff started to come in to New Spain. Also, it then became later in the 20th century, early 20th century under Porfirio Diaz, notoriously infamous president of Mexico, became a prison, a very cruel detention center. This fort was central to Spain's effort to secure its wealth during the colonial era, as Veracruz was the main entry point for goods and silver shipped to Europe. It was heavily fortified to deter frequent pirate raids, including those by legendary figures like Francis Drake and John Hawkins. It played a key role during Mexico's War of Independence, serving as the last stronghold of Spanish forces, which finally surrendered in 1825. It was later used during conflicts such as the French intervention and the US invasion of Veracruz in 1914. I'm dying of heat. The fort gained infamy as a brutal prison from the 19th to the early 20th century. Prisoners, including political dissidents and revolutionaries, were kept in inhumane conditions within its dark, humid dungeons. One of the most notable inmates was Jesus Arriaga, better known as Chucho el Roto, a Robin Hood-like figure in Mexican folklore. So besides being the main entrance point of trade goods coming in and trading between Europe and here, New Spain, about 250,000 African slaves were brought through here, mostly then staying here in Veracruz, which is why this part of Mexico has a large Afro-Mexican population, but then of course many of them were also spread throughout New Spain. So this is where they came through here. Super, super cool. What's not cool is this heat and this sun. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna spontaneously combust. I'm soaked, sunscreen dripping into my eye, I'm blind, and I probably lost 10 pounds in sweat. Whew. Okay, kids, I am heading now to the Navy Museum, which I have read is an outstanding museum. I'm not really that interested in the Navy, but I'm hoping it's air conditioned, and that's good enough for me. The Navy Museum is a comprehensive and engaging museum that celebrates Mexico's rich maritime heritage. It occupies a beautifully restored colonial-era building that once served as the Naval Academy. The academy has moved to another part of the city, but you'll still see students all over the city. The exhibits span 26 rooms, offering visitors a deep dive into the history, culture, and technology of Mexico's naval forces. Key exhibits include detailed ship models, ancient maps, and navigation instruments used throughout history. A section dedicated to Mexico's naval battles highlights pivotal conflicts such as the defense against foreign invasions, including the US occupation in 1914. Really nice museum, gigantic. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, you would spend the entire day in there. It's huge. I am headed to get some lunch at Tacos David, which I hear is some of the best tacos in the city, and it's right around the corner. Okay, so these are taquitos de cochinita pibil, which is actually usually a famous dish in the Yucatan Peninsula, originating with the Mayans. Cochinita is baby pig, so these are pork. Pibil from the Mayan language meaning buried. So the meat is marinated in citrus juices for a very long time, and then it is extremely slowly roasted, wrapped in banana leaves in a pit underground and buried with a fire. And that's what this place is known for here. So I didn't expect it to come in a broth like it does, but that is good. There's also no air conditioning. Those were delicious. Back in my room, I'm gonna take a little rest with the air conditioning, and I'll see you guys tonight. I'm probably gonna go walk the Malecón for the last time. So, see you guys in a little bit. Well, I was in the Zócalo, but in order to record this ending to my video, I decided to come to the Malecón where I started, and it's much quieter here. Anyway, I decided to end with a nieve from Güero, which seems to be a institution here in Veracruz. It's a sorbet. I got peanut flavored, and it is delicious. That's gonna do it for Veracruz. Hot, steamy, gritty, real, cultural, full of history, colorful, the music, the food. It is a completely different vibe than anywhere else that I've been in Mexico. And but the best part, honestly, was the people. The people here are so incredibly friendly. And they speak with a little bit of an accent that is different from other parts of Mexico, which I enjoyed, and really enjoyed my time here. I dig it. I definitely dig it here. I dig the vibe here. I don't dig the humidity and the heat, but if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow for Sempoala. Adios.